Welcome. I'm Suzy Saline. Welcome to another edition of Suzy's Las Vegas, and I have an extra special show today, and it's baclv.net. That's the British Car Club, and with me is Dr. Shelley and Jim Shope. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
I'm so glad to have you.
It's exciting to be here, and it's great to be able to have an opportunity to tell everybody about the British Auto Club. So
I'm really excited to share this with all of you. So we've got a lot to talk about today, and so let's get started. So tell me a little bit about you, Dr. Shelley.
I think your producer met Jim at Celebrity Cars and Coffee, and he has also British cars. And so that was how we got to be here. And I also met Jim at Cars and Coffee as well. Originally, like back in 2019, he was driving this beautiful red Aston Healy, which ended up becoming mine.
Now that's a deal I call perfect.
Yeah. And at the time, I also race vintage cars. And at the time, I had an Aston Healy race car as well, which is on the front of our little brochure.
So tell us a little bit about that.
We have a website called Team Kiwi Classic Racing, and we race vintage cars, build and race them. And then we go to Cars and Coffee every Saturday and try to hang out with our friends, and that was where I met Jim. Okay. And he was driving this beautiful red Aston Healy. I said, what a gorgeous car. I just loved it. He says, it's for sale. So I'm like, okay, my mum had just passed and left me a little bit of money. So I thought, well, what better memory of her than to have a beautiful red classic car. Like she was a gorgeous classic herself. So I'm like, perfect. So then I got involved with the car club, the British Car Club, and I'm now president of the car club.
Wow, yes. So you moved right up there.
Well, that was 2019, and then I was vice president and then president. So
that's fabulous.
And then Jim's been involved for many, many years, haven't you, Jim?
Since 2000, and like I said, anybody that volunteers, they're automatically elected.
So tell us about your background, Jim.
Well, I got interested in British cars when I was a pilot in the Air Force, teaching flight school down in Selma, Alabama.
Okay.
And I would notice that all these young lieutenants would go over to Montgomery or Birmingham and come back with these British cars. And of course, they had no clue how to maintain them or anything. And I kind of hung around the auto hobby shop on weekends working on cars. And so I started talking with some of them and found out that they had a heck of an interest in it. And so I bought a couple of old British cars for a couple of $100, whatever. Anybody, they were kind of throwaway cars then back in the 80s, early 80s, 70s, whatever it was. And so I'd fix them up and I'd put a for sale sign on them and these guys would buy them. And of course I had wife and 4 kids, so every little bit of extra money helped. And next thing you know, I bought an Aston Healy, which I didn't even know what it was. I had to call a friend of mine, say, is an Aston Healy a British car? He said, oh yeah, really nice one. And it had a blown engine, and I had managed to get the engine out of it and get it to a guy that could repair it. And from that time on, I've owned Aston Healys continuous since 1973. And at one time I had 3 of them, I think.
Wow.
And
what is your latest one? Do you have a picture?
Yes, I do. This is the one I've had since I actually bought it before I went to Germany, and fixed it up and sold it fixed it up and kept it. And that was at Temecula when we went down to for a big Aston Healy show in Temecula. And when I restored it in 1997, it was getting pretty ratty, and it had come back on the boat from Germany. I had it over in Germany for 3 years, and it had been beat up pretty bad, and so I totally restored it. And it's just been a rolling restoration ever since.
Jim is a wonderful member of our car club. He has so much knowledge, and he's now the technical advisor on our board and team that runs the club. And it's just, you've helped so many people in the club
I enjoy doing
help
it.
get their cars running, and it's just fantastic. That's why I wanted Jim to be here too.
Oh, sure.
I love
Why not?
driving them, but I don't know anything about cars. But Jim's the man who helps to fix them, and it's your daily driver still, isn't it?
Oh, I drive it. I used to drive it every day, but when my wife passed away, I kind of quit driving it that much because it's just easier
The
to jump in the
memories.
Hyundai.
Yeah.
But she used to say, I'd say, I'm going to take the Hyundai, and goes, no, you're not. And I'd say, yes, I am. And no, you're not. Well, you're not going anywhere. I don't care. I want it there in case I want to go somewhere.
Yeah. So we have all sorts of cars. We both own Austin Healey's, but
Yes.
there's
Oh my
Triumphs, Spitfires, there's Bentleys, there's what else?
Jaguars.
Jaguars, Minis.
At one time, we even had a
sorts.
massive old
DeLorean.
Allard with a big, huge Lincoln engine in it, about a 51 Allard. This guy, every time he'd start it up, your
Allard.
chest would kind of cave in, and
Wow.
it was a massive automobile, and it was
Yeah, we're a
fantastic.
very inclusive club. It's any British car, or even if you don't have a British car that works, even if you just love British cars, you can join our club.
Oh yeah, we've got people that don't even own them anymore. They've got too old to get in and out of them or
Yeah,
whatever.
but they still come to the meetings, and
They still express an interest in the
we're a
club.
very, very active club. So we have a lot of car shows, drives, events. Like we have every year, we have a great big Christmas party that's helped funded by the club. We are a membership-based club, and we've got maybe 150 members.
Yes,
150?
Yeah,
I was
and-
going to ask you
And
that.
probably a good third of them are very active as well. you
Are
know.
they all from Las Vegas area?
Yes. Some
We
from
used to
Utah.
have some guys from Kingman, Arizona that would
Yeah.
drive up,
We've got a
on
new
the
member from
weekend.
Kingman just signed up.
Yeah,
and one
and,
from St. George. And
Guy lives in Mesquite, and then some in Pahrump. We have a guy that drives over,
Yeah.
him and his wife drive over every meeting from Pahrump.
So where's your meetings at? Where do you normally
we
meet?
hold them usually at the last Sunday of the month at the Wild Horse Golf Club in Henderson.
Sure.
And then we have a website. Like for example, this month we don't have a meeting, but we've got a drive coming up this weekend to Ivans in southern Utah.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be fun. And then next month, because it's Easter, we're having our meeting on the 24th of March.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody's welcome to come along. It's like $20 for breakfast, and we have a guest speaker. Last month we had one of the people that was in charge of safety for Formula One
Oh,
and his
wow.
wife, and they were
Yeah.
very much involved in that. So they
Yeah.
shared their inside stories,
Yeah.
about Formula One. I think we have a lot of very interesting members in our club, don't we, Jim?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
We got guys, that's like me and Jonas that love to work on
Yeah.
cars. Other people just want to race them or
Yeah.
or just drive them, and we look for every chance we can to get the car out of the garage and
Yes.
out on the street and show it off.
And we've got Judy who designs our little magazine that comes out every month. It's available online, and it's inside. We list all that's me, my president's message, but we list all the different drives. Like we're going to be doing laps for charity again.
Oh, wonderful.
March 10th.
That's a wonderful cause.
That's really
It
cool.
really is.
And it's a chance to get all the old cars or new cars, zooming
Sure.
around the speedway
Right.
and giving back to Las Vegas
Oh,
children's
that's
charities.
wonderful.
We do lots of drives, like for example, we go, Red Rock Canyon.
Oh, that's a nice drive.
Yeah, and that's we've been out to Nelson's Landing.
we go up to Mount Charleston a lot.
Valley
and
of Fire,
Yeah.
and then on the back of our little magazine, it lists all the different events coming up, and then on our website too. So
So your website is for our audience.
it's BACLV, which is the British Auto Club of Las Vegas, .net. And we've got, if you become a member, the membership covers, we send out via email the magazine, and if you want the printed copy, you can, subscribe to that. And then it lists all the different events that are coming up if you want to join in on one of the events. We've got a car show coming up at the Land Rover dealership at the beginning
Oh,
of
wow,
March.
that's great.
And they're providing breakfast, and
Uh-huh.
and then Gateway Classic, we've got a car show coming up there as well. So we do a lot of different things in the area here, which is and very active. And I just really love it because it's just a great excuse to get people out of the house, into their cars, to get out and explore the rest of Vegas around here too. Because Vegas is a beautiful place. I'm from New Zealand, and New Zealand's beautiful. I've driven all around New Zealand too, but it's like Vegas is just so unique and different, and we attract so many people from all over the world, so many different backgrounds, and we've got the Red Rocks, which is so different to anything else in anywhere in the world, in the Valley of
remember
Fire.
in
the lake.
Halloween when we had about 20 British cars.
You
and
had 20?
And we had, it was called Trunks for Kids or Hella Trunk something, and you handed out candy to the kids, and
everybody got dressed up. They dressed their cars
up. Dressed their cars, and
it is a really fun club. Even our monthly meetings are fun, aren't they, Jim?
Oh, they're just a hoot. Everybody has a good time,
and being involved with the car club, I got also involved with a national organisation of Austin Healey in California.
Oh, you did? Tell us more.
There's a California Austin Healey group as well, and a whole group of us, 30 of us, was organised by the California Healey group. We went to Scandinavia. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but we did a trip around Scandinavia, and we shipped our cars over there and spent a month driving around Sweden, Norway, and Denmark.
Oh, wow, that's
so that was
wonderful.
A lot of fun. And there's even an Austin Healey meetup happening in California.
How long ago was that?
That was last July.
It was last year? Wow.
Last June, yeah.
Did you have a lot of people from here go?
Two members.
Two of them went. Most of us, like I said, most of us can't get away that long, or have just.
It was an amazing trip. Yeah.
It sounds like it. So the weather was perfect, and you got to see all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, traveled around the mountains.
You met people from all over the world then.
There were over 250 cars, Austin Healeys from all over the world, up in the fjords of Norway. Oh. And then we were driving all around, and then we went down to Denmark, and then also Sweden. So
I was there last year. The weather was perfect. It was beautiful.
What month were you there?
I was there in August.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I loved it. I did. But your trips sound amazing, and you have lots and lots of pictures here. You really do.
Oh, my God. Like I said.
And you're off to the one.
I was stationed in Germany for 3 years, and I had my car shipped over on a boat. Left, my friend drove it to the port and put it on a boat for me, and sent it over. And I was trying to find parts, and I was in bookstore looking at a German book. I can read and write German, and so I'm looking, and I saw this thing says, Austin Healey Club of Germany, and I went, what? Maybe those people know where I can get some parts. And I called him up, and the guy, he was a doctor over in Stuttgart, and he said, hey, come on, join our club, and we'll be glad to help you out. And so I said, well, I'm an American. And he said, doesn't matter. You've got an Austin Healey, you're going to belong in the club. Yeah. And so I had the best time of my life. My wife and I would go to these huge, big meetings that they would have, where they would have 100 to 150 Austin Healeys from Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and we'd get in these things and drive, and of course, every 10 miles they'd stop and have a beer.
Oh, see, now that would be party.
I mean, they'd bring out a huge big barrel and tap it, the bung in there, and start handing out. I said, guys, I can't do that. I'm in the United States Air Force. I can't. My career won't stand, if somebody stops me. But it was a great time. I really enjoyed that, even though everybody spoke German, and I'd have to figure out what were they talking about,
But they're so friendly, aren't they?
Oh my God!
What year was that?
In the 80s.
Yeah.
And we had a huge big meet down in south of Munich on the Tegernsee, and Donald Healey was supposed to be there, the guy that had built our cars.
Yeah.
And I'd been wanting to. I said, I want to go see this guy. He flew Sopwith Camels in World War I.
Wow.
And I said I wanted to talk to him, and he got cancer, and of course he couldn't come, and passed away shortly thereafter. But
the legacy lives on.
Oh my God!
These beautiful cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. I can remember when you'd go to the junkyard out here at the end of Lamb Boulevard, and the guy had 7 or 8 of them stacked up there going to the crusher because they were just an old throwaway car. But now, my God, some of those cars are $500,000 restored.
Sure.
And I'm going, wait a minute, when did a $50 Healey become $500,000? But
well, they don't make them anymore, do they?
No. Nope. Every one you find now and most of the ones you find are either totally restored or they need a total restoration. And it's kind of funny. I have a friend who's a retired brigadier general from the Air Force. He was my assistant flight commander down in Selma. He bought my first Austin Healey that I had fixed up. And he kept it all these years, and he just finally, it's like me getting old, he can't get in and out of them, and he sold it, and it was still the same engine that I rebuilt in 1983. Or no.
That's a testament to you.
It was in 73.
Wow.
And I said, wow,
that's 50
Tom.
years ago,
We
don't
He's still driving it. He was still driving the car, although it had been parked for many years. because he couldn't get in and out of it. But he finally sold it to some guy in California who's going to totally restore it.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow.
Put it back on the road. We keep every Healy on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
beautiful.
fabulous. Tell us, you mentioned you were a racer. I'd love you to tell us about that. How did you get into it, and what,
Sure.
What spark?
I ended up, my partner has been into cars for a long time and was really wanting to get into racing. And they have a high-performance driving school down in California connected in with VARA, which is the Vintage Auto Racing Association.
Okay.
And so I actually took my daily driver, my Porsche down, and I did the race training, or the high-performance driving school in my car. And then at the end of it, he said, well, you want to try driving my little race car, which was this little blue one here. So I went, did a couple of laps around the track, and I came in and I was just hooked. I lifted up my visor. I says, you're going to have to find yourself another race car because I'm keeping this one. So he did find himself another race car, and then we became
that's
involved.
Your car too?
That's my car. Yep. And then I ended up selling it to another female racer because during COVID, my partner and another good friend who's a member of the club built me another race car, which has got a little bit more grunt.
Yeah.
And I got Female Rookie of the Year, and then I was class champion in 2020, 2021, 2022, and runner-up last year. Wow. So I love racing. I'm usually one of the only girls out there too, and I'm like, I just love it.
I'm so glad you came on a show, Dr. Shaw, and you too, Jim. I mean, this is amazing, all the things we're learning today.
Yeah, I mean, and we even, as part of the club, the British Car Club, we were racing out at Pahrump, out at Spring Mountain.
Oh, yeah, that's a
at the end of
beautiful
last
track
year.
out there. Yeah.
Gorgeous, brand new track.
Yeah.
And as part of that, I organised for the car club to come out, and at lunchtime when the track was cold, a few people with their British cars came out and were able to drive the track, which is like 14 corners, in their old little cars or modern cars, whatever they wanted to bring, to experience it.
Wow.
And so that was really fun. We do so many wonderful things with the club, and I love it. It's very...
Yeah, before my wife got sick, I went to every event, it seemed like, and we would drive over to Pahrump and do that track.
Yeah.
And, 8, 10, 15, 20 of us going around the track, following the pace car. Well, slow to what the racers do, but fast enough for me when, you come to these hairpin turns and you say, am I going to get this car around this corner without sliding into the dirt?
Wow.
So we have a website too, Team Kiwi Classic Racing.
Okay.
And that's my partner and I, and we travel. This year we're planning on going to California, up Northern California, like Sonoma and Laguna, and all the way up to Oregon.
That's a beautiful drive up that way.
Oregon and Seattle. So we're planning on doing a lot of different races this year. So
that's good.
When
do the racing seasons
start? It's starting in the middle of next month. Actually, St. Patrick's Day is the first race down in California, Willow Springs, which is one of the oldest racetracks in America.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun to race on. And then that weekend, actually, we have one of our most popular events for the British Car Club here, which is the St. Patrick's Day Rally.
Oh, yeah.
We're here in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We go all around Las Vegas.
And that's sort of our anniversary because it was...
So it's right on St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
Well, it's close as we can get on a weekend.
On the 16th.
On the 16th.
And where does it start? Where does it end?
It's going to start...
It depends on who's in charge of running it.
Okay.
This year it's going to start in Town Square at the charging station, the Tesla charging station. We're going to meet there. And then Kelly, always the person that...
comes in second last year
has to organise this year. And it's usually a really fun rally, and you've got lots of questions to answer. You've got to go different places, pick up different things.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun. That's originally where I met Jim and fell in love with my Austin Healey, was at the St. Patrick's Day rally.
I was on the rally.
That was leaving from Celebrity Cars and Coffee.
Oh, wow.
And that was in 2019. And that was when I met Jim, because all these gorgeous cars were taking off. And I'm like, wow, that is a stunning car. And he said, it's for sale. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, she said, I want to buy it. And I said, well, I'll never see her again.
She fooled you, didn't she?
She fooled me. She came back the next day and said, we want this car. And I said, you've got to be kidding me.
And I gave him $100 deposit.
I said, I'll take it off the market then for you for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But then last weekend at Celebrity Cars and Coffee, I met the original owner, Mort, who was his good buddy that owned it.
We went up to Portland and bought it.
And they flew up to Portland and drove it back from Oregon about 10 years ago, was it?
Oh, 2003, I think it was.
That must have been.
Oh, that was a trip.
Heck
This
of a
guy had
trip.
never driven in the mountains before. He was from Illinois, Chicago. And of course, he comes up and says, "I like your car. I want to buy one like it." And I said, "Well, I'll look around for you." Of course, after a month or so, I didn't find anything. He sees me one day. He just lived 4 houses down from me. And he said, "I bought an Austin Healey." And I said, "What?" He says, "I bought an Austin Healey." I said, "Well, what are you going to do with it?"
Yeah.
He says, "We're going up to Oregon to get it." And I said, "We?
Yeah.
When did? Are you pregnant? Got mice in your pocket? What's going on?" He said, "Oh yeah, I already bought us a ticket." I said, "Is this going to cost me any money?" He said, "Oh no, it's all on me."
Yeah.
So we flew up to Portland and picked up the car, and I took one look at it and said, "This thing has been totally restored. You need to get it, even though it's
Beautiful.
covered with dust that thick." And we drove it back, and
Wow.
in the snow, coming through the mountains up in this.
Oh.
And I said,
Wow.
"Mort, have you ever driven in snow?" And he said, "No."
That was,
Not in the mountains.
That was you. You were going to drive then, right?
And then, of course, that's
why
why.
he took you.
Yeah.
So I said, "Here, pull over and let me do this driving." And then we blew a generator in Tonopah, and it went out. And he said, "What are we going to do?" And I said, "Well, we're going to turn off the air conditioner, which we don't have. We're going to turn off the lights, which we don't have. We're going to turn off the radio, which we don't have. So all that's left is the points and the fuel pump."
Then after that,
We
you'd
made
be
it all the way to
Fred
Las Vegas.
Flintstone, running home.
We made it 200 miles and still had oomph in the battery left to start it up again.
Oh wow.
And it is a beautiful car. It's
Oh,
immaculate. It's one of the few red ones with a white interior with the red trim.
It's beautiful.
And so I love it here in Vegas.
It's just a beautiful car. Yeah.
I mean, in the middle of summer, you don't really drive our cars, British cars, so much in the middle of summer. But we are blessed in Las Vegas to have a very mild winter.
Sure.
So,
So all winter.
yeah, like.
Well, you go to Mount Charleston too in the summer, don't you?
Yeah,
Or
I think
spring?
we're planning.
early in the day before it gets
Oh
too
yes,
hot.
yes. And in
in May-
Utah, you have a trip coming up, I believe.
Yes, so that'll be nice. I think Mother's Day we're going to do a drive up to Mount Charleston, which will be in May. So that'll be
Well,
fun.
when the lodge burned down, we kind of
Yeah.
quit going up there because we used to go up and have lunch at the lodge and then turn around and coast all the way down the mountain, do it 80 miles an hour
Yeah.
coasting.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I turned my key
then-
off and put it in
And then
neutral.
last year
Yeah.
we had a trip planned, and then they had all those floods. Remember the rain?
yeah.
Oh
The-
yes, they were terrible.
So
Well, COVID hit us pretty bad there for a couple of years too, where we
did.
didn't get anything done.
yeah.
So
We still managed to socially distance because that was just when I bought my car was 2019. So 2020 was when COVID hit. But we still would meet and we'd all socially distance and we'd stay in our own little cars. And I remember driving up the strip during COVID and it was completely empty.
Wow.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
But now we're getting back into it and we're very, very active. So every month we've got at least two things
Well,
happening.
it sounds
2 or 3
like
things.
every month you guys have something going on, and it's a nice social club too.
we always
isn't it?
have from 10 to 30 cars show up depending on what the event is. And, some people like to do the rally type things and don't just want to go to just show their car, and others just want to show their car. They don't want to drive.
Yeah.
It just depends on what, and there's
What they
something
have
for
in mind.
everybody in the club as far as I'm concerned. There's something for.
Well, it makes it fun. It really does. It's a nice social club, and people.
And if
get
you don't want to
together.
show up, nobody says anything. They don't hound you or say, "Why didn't you show up?" It's your thing. If you want to come, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. We'll see you next time.
So in March, it's Laps for Charity, I believe.
Well, we have a car show March 2nd.
Yes.
We're just like a gathering
Okay.
at the Land Rover dealership in Henderson. He's a new member. He found
really?
us through the internet too, and he's
Oh,
like
he has to be,
He has
just
a
beside
Triumph as
himself,
well.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Land Rover's English, of course, and they used to be a Jag dealership there as well. So we're going to have a car show there on March 2nd. And then March 10th, we're doing the Laps for Charity. And so we're meeting up at a gas station, Mavericks, on just off the I-15. And then our car group, we get a discount because we're a car group. So if
Oh,
you want to
that's
join,
wonderful.
if you
There
want
you
to,
go.
if you want to join the club, then you get a discount on going around Laps for Charity. And that we're meeting at 11:30 at the track, Las Vegas Speedway, and we'll do some laps. And then we'll go for lunch together.
How fun will that be?
Yeah,
Huh?
it'll be really
It's
fun.
going to be great.
And then we have our rally, St. Patrick's Day rally, the week after that. So we're going to be busy in March.
Where do you do the rally? Is it right
just round through Las Vegas here? Over to Old Henderson or out to
year
Lake
we went
Mead?
out
So
to
everybody
Boulder.
gets together and just drives.
And you actually usually have a list of things that you've got to cross off and places to go and things. Last year it ended up all around Boulder City, so it was really cool.
Oh, that's a nice ride.
Beautiful
too.
out there.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And,
So tell our audience again how to reach you and.
well, our website is baclv.net. There it is up on the screen, British Auto Club of Las Vegas. And as you can see in that picture, we've got a wide variety of cars involved. Beautiful Morgans, modern Jags, little Minis, the old Triumphs and our Austin Healey's. And then even if you don't have a British car, we encourage people to still,
if you like them,
if you don't have one that's working, at least, you can still come along in your truck or your BMW or whatever you want to, whatever you're driving. We're not discriminatory. We're very inclusive. As long as you love British cars.
Yeah.
We get people that call us up and just want their car fixed, and I said, fine, send them over. As long as they belong to the British Car Club, I'll work on their car for them. But, no non-members.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd have everybody in the world coming to my garage. And I can't handle that.
Well, how do people reach you, Jim?
Well, they either call the membership director or call or email Shelley, and she'll send me an email saying, can you work on this guy's MG or whatever? And I'll say, is he a member of the club? If he is, send him over.
Yeah. And it's not expensive to join the club. It's $60 for the year.
Oh,
for
that's
both people.
great.
For both people.
You can't beat that.
For the household. And then we subsidise the Christmas party every year, and we have a lot of fun dancing and eating.
My God.
And so basically, that's subsidised. And then all the different events that we organise, it's all voluntary. Nobody gets paid to do anything. But it's, I love it. I love doing it, and I'm very happy to be involved with it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to have you guys on a show today. I had, when I turned 16, my father had bought a Triumph.
Oh.
And when I was 15, and he was going to let me drive it. And I went out and I started to drive it. And when you're a young kid, you figure that you're going to just go like a bat out of what. And so he watched me about 3 times and he said, we can't do that. He ended up getting me a Camaro, but I always wanted to get another Triumph.
Oh.
I loved him. I had a red one, and it was beautiful.
I bought an old Austin Healey from a guy up in North Las Vegas that he said the second owner, the original owner brought it from England in the early 60s, and he said the second owner was a female captain that did not know that British cars don't have the first gear synchromesh, and she would try to jam it into that first gear. And that was the end.
That was the end. Bye-bye.
That was the end. After 2 weeks, she said, I'll sell it. And so this old sergeant
Well, that's
bought
what
it.
happened when I bought my Austin Healey from you. It was the first gear, so I ended up replacing it with a Tremec 5-speed gearbox.
Because a lot easier to shift for female.
Because when I was driving, because we were driving all around Europe, like Scandinavia, you don't want to have an issue with the gearbox. But these old cars, things do break, but they are relatively easy to fix versus the electrics of the new cars. Oh. And when I was in Scandinavia, the front brake hose broke, and we were up on the top of the mountains trying to get down to the fjords.
Oh my goodness.
So luckily my partner Denis is a great driver, and he was using the emergency brake, and it was like a little freaky, but we managed to make it and survive.
I drove 200 miles with nothing but the handbrake one time when a wheel came off and I had to, it stripped out the inside, and I couldn't put on the regular brakes, and so.
Wow. Looks like you guys need to join the club.
Yes.
This is too much fun. Honest to God,
and
I love it.
You need to get yourself a Triumph.
I'm definitely maybe an Austin Healey.
Oh, an Austin Healey.
Yeah.
And they're kind of hard to find now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to do that. I loved meeting both of you.
Yes, and we look forward to seeing you again at one of our car events. It'll be great.
Yes. Maybe we'll have you back on a show again. It would be fun.
Sure. Thank you for having us.
Got more time than I got money.
Yeah. So again, thank you for joining us. My name is Suzy Saline. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share Suzy's Las Vegas. Look forward to seeing you on the next show.